So thank you everybody for joining us this fine Friday morning. We've got our latest installment of the Pro Workshop series focused around breezEV, and we got a little splash of some other renewables, solar that Chris will touch on later. I'll kick us off today with a marketing update, and then Chris will go, and then we actually have a special guest from Amp Up, Brian McKinnon will join us for a portion of this and talk to you a little bit about what's going on at Amp Up, our premier partner for software. Um, if you do have any questions, feel free to put those in the Q&A. That's where we can best track them. Sometimes the chat gets a little bit busy, but if you can put them in the Q&A, we'll answer those questions at the end. We do not have a quiz today. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but we don't have a quiz, but please pay attention. We are going to give away some gift cards though, some $50 gift cards for you guys being here. It means a lot to us that you take time out of your day, out of your week to be with us, to learn what's going on. We always try to make this impactful, so appreciate it, and we'll notify some winners next week. So now I am going to turn it over to our Director of Renewables, Chris Pickering, to give you an update on some renewables. Take it away, Chris.
All right, thanks, Doug. And by the way, I saw Brian McKinnon's in the participant list, so you might want to promote him.
I'll take care of that.
Yep. All right, so focus of our conversation today, folks, is really on some updates to breezEV and what we're doing with the EV charging product line. I first wanted to just give you a little bit of information about what's going on in the marketplace, right? So what are some trends that are impacting EV products in the market? First off, just the increasing demand for electric vehicles from consumers across the country. In 2024, in case you didn't realize this, for the first time, EVs were greater than 10% of the registrations of cars nationally, and that number continues to grow year over year. We also have a lot of fleets that are becoming electrified, and whether that is school district fleets, whether it is rideshare fleets, we're seeing lots and lots of both municipalities and public entities electrifying their fleet cars. Building code requirements are driving the need for EV charging. Any state that has adopted the IECC 2024, that does require EV charger ready in single family and multifamily new construction, as well as in a lot of commercial construction. And I know there was some uncertainty earlier in the year around public funding and what was happening with either federal or state funding of EV charging infrastructure. And the good news is that most of that noise has gone away. We saw that a bunch of states kind of picked up the slack while the federal government figured out what they were doing with NEVI. But just about 6 weeks ago, the new NEVI requirements nationally were published by the Federal Highway Administration, and we're seeing states reopen their NEVI applications in a lot of cases. Overall, EV charging growth continues to be there. The growth in 2025 is a little bit slower than it had been in 2024. But when you look at this chart and see the number of level 2 and level 3 chargers that are being installed, you can see we're still installing at a historically high rate. So each quarter, almost 30,000 new level 2 chargers are being installed, and almost 5,000 level 3 chargers are being installed. And although, again, the growth rate slowed from, 50 to 60% in 2024 down to the mid 20s, and now in our latest quarter, just a 2% growth, but our unit volume is still very, very high. Kind of the areas where we're seeing most of that growth happen would be in the areas of multifamily and workplace. When you take multifamily and workplace and add those together, they account for just almost 60% of the number of level 2 chargers that are being installed. So when we get into, where do you go to find opportunities, those two might be some areas where you want to go. And just to give you a look at the regionality, what we saw during the NEVI pause is that there were a lot of states that kind of picked up the slack in terms of adding to their incentive programs or creating new incentive programs. And in states that had previously had lower numbers of chargers deployed in their states, that's where we saw and continue to see the largest growth in the marketplace. So some states like Pennsylvania, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Maryland, Georgia, Virginia, those are the states that are really driving the growth. And if you're a rep or a distributor that's in one of those states, you should be taking advantage of those opportunities. And so why are customers wanting to install EV charging? I mean, the biggest reason is that EV charging attracts business and attracts clients. So overall, when you look at once a new EV charger, whether it's level 2 or level 3, gets deployed in an area, we tend to see economic activity in that area increase. Part of the reason for that is that EV drivers tend to be higher income families, and they also tend to be more brand loyal families. So those are the kinds of customers that you would want to attract if you're running a business. So retail sales on average, once EV charging is installed nearby, within a quarter mile of that installation, we see retail activity increase by 2.5 to 3% year over year. If you happen to be a multifamily, like an apartment complex, we see that occupancy rates increase about 4 to 5% when EV charging is available versus when it is not. And in hotel motel applications, 82% of EV drivers are seeking out hotels that offer EV charging versus those that don't when they're traveling on the road. So not just a opportunity to generate revenue from providing the charging, but you're also increasing your personal economic activity by offering EV charging at your place of business. So I want to talk a little bit about some updates that we made to our product line. Reps on the line here, you recently received email from us with a new spec sheet and some new pricing, specifically on level 2. So I'm going to go into a little bit of what we've done with our level 2 offering to make it easier for you to specify and sell. Just a reminder that when you are selling EV chargers into your marketplace, it's really, really important that you match the level of charger to the application that you're selling into. So for most of us on the phone here today or on this call here today, you're going to be dealing with what we call destination charging. These are areas where the vehicle is going to dwell. The vehicle dwell time will be usually over 4 hours or so. So again, multifamily where people live, office buildings where people work, hospitality where people stay overnight, and then most fleets, right? So you think of a school district fleet, you're parking a bus overnight. You think of some municipal fleets where they have maybe public works vehicles or parking enforcement vehicles. Those are out during the day, but then parked overnight. Those don't need fast charging. So level 2 is the most appropriate for those applications. Where you want to get into level 3 is when you are talking about on-the-go charging. So where you expect the vehicle to only be for a short period of time, that could be, again, convenience store, quick service restaurant like a McDonald's or a Dunkin' Donuts, rest areas along the highway, and then what I would call high-use fleets. So that's typically I'm talking about rideshare fleets and or rental car fleets. All right, so here's our level 2 charger offering. Just a reminder of the overview here. We have offerings for all of the types of level 2 applications we would expect you to run into. On the left is our very, very basic plug and charge 48 amp charger. So no access control, no networking, no software license fee needed. This is what you would use in areas where you are providing EV charging as an amenity for free. So generally we see these installed in single family residences, in fleet applications where maybe they have restricted access parking lots where they park their fleet vehicles, and or hospitality where the hotel is offering the charging as an amenity, not really concerned with recouping the cost of the energy. In situations where the folks want to provide some level of access control, but still maybe are not charging for the cost of energy, that's where we go into our R40, R48. And in that situation, we provide access control by using an RFID card that initiates the charging session. So general public pulls up and just plugs in. They can't begin a charge until they wave an RFID card in front of it. And then finally, our networked solution for publicly available chargers where the site host is recouping the cost of the energy. That's where we get into our P48, and that's where the majority of our changes have happened. So when you saw our new spec sheet and our new price sheet come out, you may have noticed that there are several new part numbers and several part numbers that were discontinued from previous. So on the left side are our old part numbers and descriptions. We used to have pretty much one bundle that had the charger, the cable, the software package all bundled together. And then we had a couple of options where you had to order the charger and the cable separately from each other. All of those kind of unbundled part numbers have been discontinued, and we're going forward with a fully bundled product offering. So when you order a professional networked charger from us, a P48, it's always going to be bundled with the cable, and it's always going to be bundled with a software package. So new part numbers on the right, you see we've tried to simplify the part number so that the part number schema kind of matches what we do with the rest of the product line. As well as we have added some new software plans that help us to match the functionality of the software to the application that we're selling into. When you look at how it looks on our spec sheet, we've tried to organize it so that you see here are the bundles, including the cable length that you'll get with each bundle, and including the software plan that is attached with each bundle. And so at this point, I'm going to pause and I'm going to turn it over to Brian McKinnon. Brian is our main point of contact at AmpUp, who is our primary software partner. And I'd like to have Brian spend a little bit of time talking through why software is so important in an EV charger application and what some of the differences are between the new packages that we're offering as part of these bundles.
Yep. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian McKinnon. I've been in the EV business. I'm getting on close to 10 years now. I was with ChargePoint for about 8 years. I ran their distribution channel there, and I joined AmpUp in January as their channel sales leader. So we are building our new strategy to support you guys to make sure that you have all the tools and resources that you need to go out and speak to the contractor base, the distributor groups, to make sure that people have all the tools and resources they need as it relates to software. We know that a lot of these sales happen because of various needs, but a lot of them are also the size of the deals can increase when there's incentives and things like that in play. And whenever those are in play, a network provider, a network software plan is required. So, I mean, essentially people can buy EV charging and they can get a plug, but if they get a network and all the capabilities that come with that network, it's yes, pricing and access controls are a piece of it, but data collection and reporting and all the things that they need to participate in some of these incentive programs, they get from us. So we are tied in on the back end to all these utility programs. Doesn't matter where it is across the country. If there's an EV incentive plan, we're tied in with that funding agency or grant provider, and we can report directly to the entity whatever the data or requirements are to get the funding. So if it's in New York or if it's in Massachusetts or if it's in Colorado, it doesn't matter. We're tied in across the country. If a site host chooses to get a Breeze station with an AmpUp program because they want to participate in some kind of a funding situation, we are doing all the data and reporting for them. So we're essentially the easy button on the network side. Just there are essentially two types of EV charging businesses, right? There are the vertically integrated folks that make their own hardware and make their own software. And then there are folks like us, where you guys are focused on making a great hardware solution, and we can be the software solution, meaning we're doing 24/7 driver care. We're doing all the data and reporting. We're doing site host support. So when something's going on with the station in the field, we're handling all that. So essentially, you get a great back-end support network with us, and you get to really just focus on getting hardware out to the street and making it easy with these bundles. Selling this complete SKU is like just super well received in the channels. And I think if, for all those who are participating in this today, my guess is you're experiencing that when you're quoting out these things in their one line item and it has everything they need. It removes all the friction of what's this and why does it have this and why do I have software and this is a pedestal and this is a thing, and this is a dual port and a single, like all those conversations go away and you can speed up your deal cycles by going to this bundle. So I think it's super genius what you guys are doing here, and I'm happy to support. I also want to make sure that you guys know that I'm a resource for you. We're a part of your product, and all we do is EV. We live and breathe in the EV space every day, and we're absolutely a part. You should be looked at as a part of your sales organization. So please lean on us for anything you need. We're happy to do customer demos, and I know we've been called to the table to do that before, but I just want to make sure the broader audience knows that we're here to support. We should be called to the table whenever there's a question about activation or post-sale support or driver support, or if you want to help understanding like a specification, how does that read as it relates to software, and do we meet all those needs? We're absolutely should be called on. So just want to make sure that the team knows that we're here to work for you. Think of us as free feet on the street, who live in the EV space every day, and absolutely should be looked at as an asset for you guys. Put us to work for you.
That's great, Brian. Hey, can you take just a quick second? And previously when we went to market with bundling exclusively Amp Up Pro as part of our
Yep.
offering. And now we have kind of a good, better, best strategy here with multifamily, core, and pro. Can you kind of walk through what those three offerings are and what the similarities and differences might be?
Yep. Love it. Yeah. So Pro, which is our plan that offers essentially everything, which is what you guys had before. It is I would say it's our most expensive, but really good value software offering. The core is, um, 99% of what the market needs, you can sell core. So you can be more aggressive now in terms of like, top, the price to the customer will be reduced a little bit by going to core. So you'll be more competitive, and it still offers just about everything the customer needs. The only thing that Pro has, that core doesn't have is a tiered pricing scheme, and then integration to building and management, be like energy management systems, like a BMI system at a building. So all that back end integration stuff that we would do with a building under energy management, we do that with Pro, or tiered pricing if they wanted to have multiple individuals at the same time based on access groups, get pricing. So if one person plugged in, they might pay 50 cents a kilowatt hour, but another user plugged in, they might pay 40 cents. That exists in Pro. So you guys came out of the gate with Pro with everything, but I think what was learned over time was that there's this slightly more competitive offering with core. Your win rate's going to go up selling core more often than selling Pro, but at least you have it in your pocket when people want those advanced features. The other one is multi, which is a new product for us. We just launched it, and Chris mentioned it a few minutes ago. Like the top vertical today in EV charging, it is multifamily. That's, as drivers buy cars, it's imperative that they have a charger at their house or where they live. So, obviously we are all familiar with multifamily stats in terms of, the percentage of people that live in a multifamily environment versus a single family home. And you cannot drive electric and not have charging at home. So that is why multifamily is under so much pressure to perform. So it's a huge vertical in EV. And we developed a product that is utilization-based software, meaning instead of paying $250 a year upfront as an annual rate, we charge the site host 7 cents a kilowatt hour based on utilization. So it's zero entry cost. They get the software on the station, but it doesn't cost them anything up front. They pay for it monthly based on utilization. We did this because that was Tesla's model. Tesla, who came into the space 3 or 4 years ago into the AC charging space and started dominating, specifically in multifamily, where they put all these stations in the ground and they were saying, no software cost. We're just going to charge people a nickel a kilowatt hour. And now it ranges anywhere from 9 cents a kilowatt hour down to 3 based on the size of the volume of the deployment and the location. So they have, sales managers that look at, okay, this one's in LA and it's a very big deployment. We're going to only charge 3 cents a kilowatt hour. But if you're in the middle of nowhere in Kansas and you need 4 stations, they're going to charge you 9 cents a kilowatt hour. So what we did was we came up with a neutral spot at 7 cents a kilowatt hour and we launched that product. And so the way that that works is we just run the data at the end of the month, and whatever the utilized, kWh output is for the site, we send an invoice to the site host. And that's to remove the barrier of, I'm not really sure if I want to pay $250 every year because I'm not sure how often these are going to get used. So then we say, okay, well, let's take that aside and we'll just charge you based on your energy dispensed. And then at the end of the year, you can make a decision. Do you want to go back to the flat rate model? Because you paid $500. Let's look at it. So we give them that option at the time of renewal. So anyway, we've given you guys some more tools in the toolbox. You can hit a whole new set of, unlock another set of opportunities, go hard and fast after multifamily with this new aggressive offering and turn a lot more product. So that's the goal. Did that help you, Chris?
Yep, that's exactly what we needed. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate
Perfect.
it. So I also want to let everyone know that we're going to be making a running change in our pedestal offering as well. We've had a couple of I guess, challenges with our current pedestal offering. The first of which has always been lead times. We use a local third-party fabricator outside of our Middleton facility to provide our pedestal systems. Their lead times have been very, very variable over our time with them, and have gotten us into some situations where we have extended back order times. The other problem that we've had with our current pedestal offering is our cable retraction system has created some issues in the field because of the tension on that cable retractor that has caused some plug breakage. It has caused some issues with folks, maybe parking their car not quite as close to the charger as they should and not being able to fully extend the plug to get it to the port on the car. The other issue is that it ships in a way such that we can't utilize UPS shipping and we can't easily inventory it, which is why we've been doing this sort of make to order sort of scheme in the past. Moving forward, we're going to be making a running change. Our part numbers won't change other than to go from G1 to G2 on the part number. Our pricing will again become a little bit more aggressive, the same as it did with our P48 charger. But the good news here is that these are in convenient 4-foot increments. So we can stock these in a warehouse. We can ship them via UPS or FedEx Ground, whereas previously we were required to use LTL shipping to get them out. So this is coming in about 3 to 4 weeks. We'll get our first batch of inventory. And you'll now be able to see on our inventory report, what pedestal parts do we have in stock to make it easier for your quoting efforts, as well as, once again, we'll be able to have improved shipping performance as well. The cable management on these new units is being handled via kind of a block and tackle weight system that's internal to the pedestal. So it's a much smoother operation and it applies less force. So we should eliminate most of those kind of plug breakage and cable breakage issues that we've had previously. So look for an announcement for that to come out in the next month or so. In level three, not much changing in terms of the product offering. We're still going to market with our breezEV powered by Autel on level three. But Autel did provide us with an announcement recently that on all of our C series and D series level threes, they've committed to 2-week lead times out of North Carolina, where previously we had been running at some points, 6, 8, even 10 weeks. So that's a vast improvement on lead time. And then if anyone has an opportunity for one of the F series, the high power output level threes, they're shipping those within 4 weeks out of North Carolina. So again, huge improvement in lead time. I know a lot of our competitors have been quoting extended lead times, especially when you start getting up into the 240 into 480 kW range. So we'll be able to pick off some projects, hopefully with our lead time improvements. Just want to remind everyone of the resources that are available on our website. When you get onto the website, make sure that you click this resources tab, and you'll find all kinds of information that will help you in your selling efforts. This one I'm highlighting here happens to be the contractor's resource guide, but there's also kind of some vertical selling guides. You'll find a rebate finder, so find out what incentives are available in your marketplace from which entities. And then, of course, there's the revenue calculator that is provided to us by our friends at AmpUp that help you demonstrate what kind of revenue and profit expectation could a potential site host have if they do install charging at their place of business. So, where should you be going as soon as you hang up from this call to go and find some opportunities? Brian and I both mentioned that multifamily is really driving most of the installations that are happening in the marketplace right now. So your apartment developers, your condo complex developers, those are the guys you should be out calling on right away. But then secondarily, office buildings, retail shopping, fleets, commercial property developers, lots of opportunities out there in the marketplace for a number of these verticals. And again, you can find selling tools for each of these verticals on our website. And then lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the other half of my renewable responsibility, which is the Solera product line. Reminder that this year we've launched 2 really, really powerful new products. The Flex Color wall pack, replacing our old 7-watt and 15-watt wall packs. This is a new Flex Color, so you got a choice of 3, 4, 5,000 Kelvin color temperature, a cold temperature battery, a removable solar panel. So now if I'm on the north side of a building, I can still get my light engine on the north side of the building, but then remotely mount my solar panel to get it facing south. Lots of improvement in the functionality and the features available for essentially only about a 5% price difference from our old fixed color, non-cold temperature battery offering. So that's available in stock, available for shipment right away. And then the other major product launch was our I series. This is our intelligent 4G connected area light that is appropriate for large scale deployments in parking lots, in roadway applications, in perimeter and security lighting, tons and tons of different applications here. And it comes with the Solera Connect app that allows you to both commission and then monitor the performance of the fixture, set up alerts if the fixture is not operating correctly, and produce reporting to show how much power have I generated on site, how much greenhouse gas emissions have I avoided by using solar power versus using grid power. Lots and lots of powerful tools to help you be successful in your selling efforts. So using Solera in combination with EV charging, in some cases you might find that you can deploy additional chargers in a parking lot by taking the lighting of that parking lot off grid using our I series and then opening up additional power availability for your EV chargers. So an opportunity that you don't get with any other manufacturer out there to use both of the renewables product lines to an advantage for the customer.